In the year 2015, sustainable development got revolutionized. For the first time in history, all UN member states agreed on a set of 17 quite encompassing sustainable development goals, or in short, SDGs. The so-called 2030 agenda includes topics like ending poverty, ending hunger, gender equality, sustainable cities, combat climate change, protect biodiversity, and so on. So this is just to name a few. One special thing about the 2030 agenda is that it is integrated, and this means that the goals and the underlying targets are connected to each other in a complex network. And we call these connections SDG interactions. These interactions make it possible to address sustainable development in a more holistic way. So if we set an action towards a certain SDG, in many cases this action does not only affect the desired SDG, but also has an effect on other SDGs. And these effects might even have further effects on further SDGs, which in turn have effects on SDGs, and so on and so on. So to make the best out of the 2030 agenda, and to ensure coherent policy strategies for the achievement of the SDGs, it is important to know how our actions actually affect the SDGs and how they interact with them. But how can we select a method to do this? Over the past years, there has been quite some scientific interest about SDG interactions, and this resulted in a huge amount of publications, trying to analyze SDG interactions in a systematic way. As you see here, a lot of different methods have been developed. So what we decided to do is to analyze these existing methods and find out their characteristics in terms of the effects between SDGs, how much information they can give about the effect between the SDGs, their practicability in implementation, their promoting interdisciplinarity and promoting collaboration and system thinking. To do that, we first conducted a systematic literature review on SDG interactions. Then, second, we identified and categorized these methods. And then we assessed them according to different criteria that allowed us to answer our research questions. In the first step, we initially got 1,744 publications. After several screening steps, we derived from these publications our 30 methods that we categorized into 6 method categories. One interesting thing about these methods is that most of the publications used quantitative methods, like, for example, statistical methods. Statistical methods were also the group with the most methods, but there are a lot of other methods as well, like argumentative methods or, for example, linguistic methods. In the third step, we then assess the methods. In terms of effects between the SDGs, all the methods can give some information in some kind of way, but there are many methods that are limited in giving information about the direction of effects and feedback loops. This information could mostly be given by argumentative methods, where 80% of the methods could give this information, and literature and simulation methods, where 100% of the methods fulfilled these criteria. If you want to implement a method, one quite important thing is its practicability. So methods that are quite difficult to apply or that need a lot of time in applying are not so likely to be used in practice. Simulation methods, for example, are quite time-intensive and difficult to interpret. Other methods that are easier to apply, like, for example, literature methods or linguistic methods, or methods that have a lower time effort, like linguistic and statistical methods, might have an advantage here. In this study by interdisciplinarity sensitivity, we mean that the method is able to process different kinds of information, like, for example, quantitative data, qualitative data, implicit knowledge, or individual preferences. In our assessment, interdisciplinarity sensitivity was only possible for argumentative methods. Interdisciplinarity sensitivity is important because it makes it possible to include scientists from different fields and work together. So it can enhance collaboration. And when we collaborate with each other, especially with scientists from other fields, then this makes us think out of the box and think systemically. So this way, our results and solutions to sustainability problems can become more comprehensive and in some way better. In our assessment, collaboration was best in argumentative methods, where 100% of the argumentative methods were supporting collaboration. And system thinking was mostly fostered by argumentative methods, literature methods, and simulation methods. In conclusion, SDG interactions are complicated, and it is very difficult to pick a method out of the many methods that there are. This study helps to identify the best method or the best methods to do this. In Uninetz, in the project that I work in, it was used to develop a method for the assessment of policy options. In general, there is not the one method. The selection always depends on the context of the analysis and the requirements for the application. There are, however, some methods that support collaboration, system thinking, and interdisciplinarity, which are key to sustainable development. Thank you very much.